The 911 call came in at 5:42 a.m. on February 1st, 1988. A woman's panicked voice reporting her husband had been shot. But this was no ordinary accident. What investigators would uncover was a chilling pattern of death following the same woman, a pattern that would expose one of the most calculating killers in North Carolina history. This is the story of Barbara Stager, the Sunday school teacher who turned out to be a cold-blooded murderer. Russell Stager was everything a community could want in a high school baseball coach. Beloved by his players, respected by his colleagues, and devoted to his two children from his first marriage. After his divorce from JoLynn Snow, Russell had found love again with Barbara Ford, a recent widow who seemed like the perfect match. On the surface, their marriage appeared happy. They attended church together, hosted neighborhood gatherings, and presented themselves as the ideal suburban family. But behind closed doors, Russell was growing increasingly concerned. He confided in his ex-wife, JoLynn, about strange financial discrepancies, large sums of money disappearing from their accounts. He suspected Barbara was having an affair. Most disturbingly, he had begun questioning the circumstances surrounding the death of Barbara's first husband, Larry Ford, who had died from an accidental gunshot wound 5 years earlier. If anything happens to me, Russell told JoLynn, don't let them call it an accident. The night before his death, Russell and Barbara had attended a school function together. Witnesses noted nothing unusual about their behavior. They returned home around 10 p.m., with Russell telling a neighbor he was looking forward to sleeping in the next morning. It was Sunday, his day off. At 5:42 a.m., Barbara's frantic call to 911 shattered the morning calm. She claimed she had accidentally discharged the gun Russell kept under his pillow for protection. The first officers on scene found Russell unconscious, but still breathing. A single gunshot wound to the back of his head. Barbara, dressed in a nightgown, appeared appropriately distraught. But experienced investigators would later recall something unsettling about her demeanor. Paramedics rushed Russell to Duke University Medical Center, where he was declared brain dead. Barbara made the decision to remove life support, citing his wishes as an organ donor. Within hours, Russell Stager was dead, his death certificate initially listing the cause as accidental gunshot wound. The case might have ended there, if not for two key factors: the suspicions of Detective Rick Buchanan and the determination of JoLynn Snow. Buchanan, reviewing the initial reports, found several inconsistencies. The blood spatter pattern didn't match Barbara's account. The gun's position seemed unnatural for an accidental discharge. Most troubling, Barbara had washed the bloodied sheets before police could properly document the scene. Meanwhile, JoLynn Snow was conducting her own investigation. She contacted the medical examiner's office, demanding to know why no autopsy had been performed. She reached out to Larry Ford's family, learning disturbing details about his death, and she provided Buchanan with crucial information about Barbara's financial motives, including a $100,000 life insurance policy taken out just months before Russell's death. The investigation hit several dead ends initially. Barbara's alibi held up under preliminary scrutiny. The gun had indeed been legally registered to Russell. Neighbors described the couple as happy, with no history of domestic disturbances. Even Barbara's occasional emotional outbursts during interviews could be chalked up to grief. Most significantly, The district attorney initially refused to consider foul play. "It's a tragic accident," he told Buchanan. "A grieving widow doesn't need us making it worse." Without concrete evidence, the case seemed destined for the cold case files. The turning point came when Buchanan obtained Larry Ford's autopsy records. The similarities were chilling. Same caliber weapon, same entry wound location, same accidental ruling. Even the circumstances were identical. Barbara had been the only witness to both shootings. Financial records revealed a pattern of deception. Barbara had drained both husbands' bank accounts before their deaths. She had taken out multiple credit cards in Russell's name without his knowledge. Most damning, she had increased Russell's life insurance policy 3 months before his death, naming herself as sole beneficiary. Forensic analysis of the crime scene proved critical. Blood spatter experts determined the shot could only have been fired from above Russell's head as he slept. Impossible if Barbara had been lying beside him, as she claimed. Gunpowder residue tests showed Barbara had fired a weapon recently, despite her claims she never handled guns. The district attorney finally authorized an arrest after Buchanan presented his findings. Barbara was taken into custody at her parents' home, where she had been staying since Russell's death. Her reaction was telling, not shock or outrage, but cold calculation. "You can't prove anything," she told officers as they handcuffed her. The trial captivated North Carolina. Prosecutors painted Barbara as a black widow who saw marriage as a financial opportunity. They presented evidence that she had researched gunshot wounds in the library before both deaths. A handwriting expert proved she had forged the publisher's letter about her book. Most damning, the insurance agent testified Barbara had specifically asked about instant payout policies. After just 3 hours of deliberation, the jury returned a guilty verdict. Barbara Stager was sentenced to life in prison, where she remains today, still maintaining her innocence. The case leaves haunting questions. How many other accidents might have followed if Russell hadn't voiced his suspicions? How many seemingly perfect marriages hide such dark secrets? Russell Stager's legacy lives on through a scholarship fund established in his name. His players remember him as more than a coach, as a man whose death exposed a killer. And for detectives like Rick Buchanan, the case serves as a permanent reminder. Sometimes the most dangerous criminals don't fit the profile. Sometimes they're the ones we'd least suspect. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe the channel if you liked the video. See you next time. Good night.